It's the last day of the month. You open your banking app and suddenly you feel rich. Salary is in. Dinner at that fancy restaurant? Why not? Movie night? Count me in. And before you know it, the money is gone and you have to depend on your credit card to get through the rest of the month. If you're someone who always find yourself wondering, where did all my salary go? You're not alone. This is a story for most people, and this happens because most don't have a paycheck routine. So I spent hours reading through blogs, watching videos from experts, and asking every finance nerd I know, what should we do when we get paid? And in this video, I'm breaking down all that knowledge into 7 simple action points. So let's get started. If you're new here, my name is Srijit, and on this channel, I aim to make money the least of your worries by breaking down complex financial topics into simple, actionable steps. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a random guy on the internet sharing my experiences. So please do your own research before acting on anything you hear from me. Before we can start doing something, we need to get some clarity. We have to clearly understand where we currently stand with respect to our finances. Or in simpler words, find our financial baseline. And here is how to do it. Log into your main bank account where you pay for your expenses and get the statements for the previous month. Now go through every single transaction and highlight anything you spend money on regularly. I'm talking about expenses like rent, monthly subscriptions, groceries and others. I know it's not that easy, but you can't fix something if you don't know where the problem is. Now grab a pen and paper or open an Excel sheet, whichever is convenient for you, and classify all those regular expenses into 2 columns, needs and wants. A need is something that you can't live without. Groceries, insurance, utilities, all goes in here. A want is everything else. Restaurants, Netflix, new gadgets, things that are nice to have, but not a must. If you're finding it hard to do this classification, here is a simple rule. If you can live without it, it's not a need. Once you sort everything out, then do the math. Figure out what percentage of your income is going towards your needs. And then just divide the value in the needs column by your monthly income and multiply by 100. The number that you see right now on the calculator is your financial baseline. Now, your number will be different from mine, and that's okay. But what matters is this. This value should be below 50% of your income. That means if your monthly salary is $5,000, you should get all your needs below $2,500. If that's already the case with you, then perfect. You are on to a good start. Even if that's not the case, don't worry. It's totally possible to get it under control. Just because something is a need doesn't mean you can't bring down the cost. But where should you make the cut? Just don't bother with that monthly movie ticket or $2 morning coffee. Just focus on those expenses that really move the needle. Things that cost you the most and make a real difference. And that's usually housing and transportation. Everyone needs a place to live. But do you need to live in a high-end apartment in the center of the city? Would it be possible to move a little farther out and save hundreds every month? Even if it means an extra 15-minute commute to the office, that's something worth thinking about. Or if you're living in a 2-bedroom flat, maybe rent out the extra room. And same with your car. If you're driving a luxury SUV with high monthly payments, maybe it's time to ask yourself, is it worth switching to a reliable used car to do the same job for half the cost? I know, it can be really uncomfortable. I'm not saying you have to cut back on everything. Maybe you don't want to, and that's totally fine. This is a decision only you can take. But at least go through each item in your needs list and ask yourself, can I lower this amount without significantly affecting the quality of my life? Once you have found your financial baseline and managed to bring it down under the 50% mark, here is what you should do next. As soon as you get paid, transfer that amount into a separate expense account. If you are sharing expenses with a partner, this could also be a joint account. And make sure to automate this so that you don't have to manually do the transfer every month. Now, once your needs are covered, let's move on to step 2. Right now, around 77% of American adults are in some kind of debt. And this is one of the biggest reasons why people struggle to build wealth. Whether it's student loans, car payments, or credit card balances, debt is a burden. Not just financially, but also mentally. That's why becoming debt-free should be your first goal. But how do we actually do that? Start by listing out every loan or debt you have, especially those with interest rates above 7 to 8%. Those are your financial red flags. And once your needs are covered, take whatever is left from your paycheck, ideally around 50% of your income, and put it straight towards paying off that debt. And there are 2 popular ways to do this efficiently. First, avalanche method. Here we target the high interest ones first. such as credit card debt, and then slowly work on others. This helps you save money on interest over time. And second, snowball method. This is just the opposite strategy and is more about psychology than about math. Here, we focus on paying off the smallest debt first, and this gives you that extra motivation boost when you see the numbers coming down. Now, which method to follow depends on your personality and what motivates you. I recommend the avalanche method because mathematically it saves you more money. But if having too many debts stresses you out, then do the snowball. Now, all debts aren't bad and need not be paid off immediately. If your mortgage interest rate is really low, below 3.5%, then it generally makes sense not to pay it off early because that's practically free money and your money used to pay off the debt can make a higher return elsewhere. On the other hand, it's always in your best interest to avoid debts like credit card balances, personal loans, or payment plans for consumer goods. But there is one major factor that pushes many people into debt and is often beyond our control. So in the next step, we will see how to deal with that. Life is always full of surprises, and at some point, an emergency will come your way in the form of a sudden job loss, a car repair, or even a medical emergency. It's just a matter of time. But surprisingly, a study found that 56% of Americans wouldn't be able to cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. And that's exactly why having an emergency fund is so important. So, how much do you need in this rainy day fund? Do you remember the financial baseline from step 1? A good rule of thumb is to save 6 months worth of your financial baseline. So, if your baseline spending is around $3,000 a month, your emergency fund should ideally be around $18,000. Now, this fund should only be touched when it's really needed, only in case of a real emergency. Your favorite shoes listed on sale is not an emergency, but we can't trust our willpower always. So, it would be better not to keep the emergency fund in your main bank account. Instead, save this in a separate high interest savings account. If you are still struggling with high interest debt, then I suggest starting with a small emergency fund, maybe to cover 1 month of your expenses, and then once you are debt free, build it to the full amount. Now, once you have handled your basic needs, set up an emergency fund and start working on your high interest debts, the next step in your payday routine is to start saving for retirement. Most countries offer some kind of tax-free retirement accounts. In the US, this is the 401k or the Roth IRA. A great benefit of such accounts is that your employer normally offers a match. Means if you earn $100,000 a year and contribute 5% of your salary, that's $5,000. Your employer also add another $5,000. That's literally free money. Plus all the contributions you make reduce your taxable income. So you save money also on taxes. If you live in the UK, then look into the workplace pension. In India, it's the Employer Provident Fund. In Australia, it's called superannuation. In Canada, they have RRSPs. No matter where you are, there are likely some kind of systems in place that reward you for saving for retirement. So make use of them. A good rule of thumb is to put 10% of your income into your retirement accounts. And the earlier you start, the less you need to save each month and the more your money will grow. Once your retirement is taken care of, you can move on to step 5. Start investing for your future. Here is what to do. Set up an automatic passive investment plan. Every time you get paid, move a fixed percentage of your paycheck, around 15 to 20%, into an investment account. And from there, invest it automatically into investments of your choice. For me, that's a few low-cost index funds. Why index funds? Because they are simple, diversified, and don't require constant attention. I'm not a financial expert and I don't have the knowledge or time to be one. So I don't try to time the market. I don't check my portfolio every day, week, or even month. I usually take a quick look twice a year just to make sure everything's on track. Whether the market is going up or crashing down, I really don't care. Because historically, the stock market has returned around 10% a year. And that's with all the ups and downs included. If you're new to investing, just stick to the basics and invest in a solid index fund such as the S&P 500. Now, this may not come with the same tax benefits as the 401k or the Roth IRA, but it gives you complete flexibility and it's one of the best ways to grow your wealth. So, we have talked about saving for retirement, investing in the stock market, and all that good stuff. But there is something that gives the highest return for your investment: yourself. You have got to make yourself more valuable because when your value goes up, your income goes up. So, reserve a part of your paycheck to spend on online courses and workshops and learn high income skills. Don't be that person who wants everything for free and never wants to pay for anything. Good training and mentorship cost money, and then use those newly learned skills to start a side hustle or maybe even a full-on business. When you invest in yourself, the return keeps paying you for life. And finally, we get to the fun part. The last place your money should go is your wants. This is where you treat yourself. Go out for that nice dinner, hang out with friends, buy that thing you have been eyeing for a while. Money isn't just for saving and investing. It's also meant to be enjoyed. But the order matters. Take care of all the important stuff first and then make the most out of the rest. Now that I've shown you the 7 places your money should go every single payday, let me give you a quick example to pull it all together. Let's say your monthly take-home salary is $5,000. Here is how you can break that down. First up, your needs. Things like rent, groceries, and utilities. Ideally, that should be 50% of your paycheck, which in this case is $2,500. Now, let's say you have already built your emergency fund and you don't have any high interest debt, so you can skip those buckets for now and go straight to step 4. Else, put everything else there. So from the remaining $2,500, let's allocate $500 towards your retirement accounts. This could be your 401k or a Roth IRA, and that leaves you with $1,500. From here, you can put $750 into your investments and $250 into the invest in yourself bucket, which means you're now left with $500. And that's your do whatever you want with that money. And by following this routine, you're basically adjusting your lifestyle to take care of your priorities and then making most out of what's left. You stop spending money that you don't have. And that's what makes you different from the rest, who keep chasing more without even knowing where the money is going. If you got some value from this video, then do give it a like. And if you want to see more videos on building wealth and happiness, then do subscribe to the channel. Until I see you with another video, have a wonderful rest of the day and adios.